Good evening, viewers. More than 2 years after a military coup that resulted in destabilizing years of political development in Myanmar, the Tatmadaw killed 192 civilians, carried out 1,427 airstrikes across Myanmar since taking power by force in coup d'etat. In accordance with data from the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, India was housing more than 74,600 refugees from Myanmar as of 2023. More than 54,100 of them are thought to have entered following the February to 2021 coup. Over 40,000 refugees from Myanmar were residing in Mizoram as of May 1st, 2023, and 8,250 were residing in the state of Manipur. Everyone is aware of the Rohingya issues in Myanmar, and today we have with us U Maung Maung from Myanmar. He is the president of Confederation of Trade Unions Myanmar. Maung Maung is also the General Secretary of the National Council of the Union of Burma and is a key leader in the Burmese pro-democracy movement, working from the Thai-Burmese border. Welcome to India Today, NE sir.
Thank you very much. First one correction, I'm not the General Secretary, but I'm the council member of the NUCC, just to make a clarification.
Okay, sir. Sir, I'd like to know from you, sir, my first question, how is the political situation in the Myanmar right now?
Well, politically, all of us are working for change of the political system. We call it system change. It's not only that we don't want the military getting involved in Burma's political issues, but all of us want to have a change in the political system, in the governance system, and that is what we are working for. So the regime is pushing very hard to survive, and we are pushing hard to change the system. So the situation is very tense. The struggles are very hard.
Okay. So is there any hope that junta will free every political prisoners?
Well, they were not free by themselves. We do need to maintain the pressure both internally as well as internationally. Internally means that people ask, okay, if you don't have the regime, what do you have? Well, we within the NUCC, we have finished a federal constitution that we hope that we can use in the future, at least for discussion. Then also we have got a roadmap. Then for us as together, we have our ambassador as a permanent representative, Wu Moton at the UN General Assembly. So I would say these are the pressures that are going against the regime. And at the same time, what we are also doing is maintaining the international pressure onto the regime, trying to stop the income so that the regime cannot buy more weapons, more jet fuel to bomb the people, and also not to continue the harassment with the people. So that is the kind of thing that we have to do. While at the same time, the regime is making friends with Russia, which is attacking Ukraine, is making friends with Belarus, which is supporting Russia, is making friends with North Korea, which is one of the worst states in the war. So we have this
Mhm.
kind of situation in the country. So, like I said, the situation is very tense.
Right. So as you said, the situation is very tense. Do you think that junta is only targeting a particular or specific ethnic group?
Well, if you are not in a green uniform, okay, they have equality for everybody, which is that if you are not in a green uniform, you are not from the military, you will be, let's say, whatever you own will be taken away. For example, if you look at the business people, normally
Mhm.
the business people just pretend they don't know anything. That is business as usual. But very
Mhm.
recently, the leaders of the Rice Association, the leaders of the Gold Bullion Association, the leaders of the Petroleum Association, all have been arrested. And because the regime is saying the inflation is due to them, not to what they are
Okay.
doing. So that is what is happening. So what I'm saying is, well, when we have many ethnics, all ethnics are oppressed. All people in the cities are oppressed. All the business people, all the workers, everybody who is not in the military is oppressed and abused by the military. So this is what is happening in the country.
So are all the ethnic groups fighting together against the coup?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Let's say we within the NUCC we have 31 organizations. Many are also CSOs, trade unions, women's groups, ethnic organizations with territorial influence, ethnic organizations that don't hold territory but are ethnic nationalities, and the elected representatives. And I would say almost everybody is here. At the same time, those who are not in the NUCC alliance, we are working with them on an individual basis. For example, with the Kachins, they are part of this thing that when we do the federal constitution, they are there as consultative status, or we try to work out on issues on the Rohingyas. We meet with everybody, getting their ideas and inputs on what could be the solution. So these are the activities that we are doing as NCU, NUCC, working to get everybody together. But to be very clear, all of us have just one very common objective, and that is to get rid of the military regime and get to a system change.
Okay. So when you are saying that to get rid, it's a your all the ethnic groups are fighting to get rid of the military regime. When you are saying that all the tribes are oppressed, what kind of atrocities are happening right now with the people of Myanmar? Like how many
Uh,
strikes and what is the situation? If you can explain the story.
well, it is interesting to see. Uh, Just from where I am staying, we just about 30 minutes ago we just heard an airplane bombing one of the ethnic communities.
In
I
which
I
place,
just
sir?
heard, it's near the Thai Burma border, I would say, and then also we are hearing of let's say howitzers, 120 mortars firing, and so this is something that we hear every day. And that is not only in our areas, but let's say also in the Karani state up. Then you go up to Shan state, there is atrocities, there are oppression. Then you go into Kitchen where they bomb the churches, they bomb the schools, and you get into the, let's say, Chin region, Naga region, where they burn whole villages. Then you go into Middle Burma, where Zagai and Magui, where almost all the villages have been burnt down, and the people, the people have been burnt to death.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very strange that in this period where the government arrests people, tie them up, and then burn them to death. That is
Mm-hmm.
happening in Burma. That has happened in Burma and is reported the UN Human Rights Commission. So this is the kind of atrocities that we are facing. That's why I was saying anybody who is not in a green uniform will be tortured, will be arrested, and all your things taken away. That's what is happening in the country.
Okay. So, as you can, you are saying that democracy has been compromised, and there is a lot of outrage across the world. Is Myanmar not feeling isolated with all the boycotts internationally, and even in ASEAN, Myanmar is isolated? How you think that things are going to turn out?
Well, when we say it's isolated, we have to understand that let's say the moral support is there. But okay, have you done anything to stop the regime from doing all those things? No. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when we talk about sanctions, sanctions are passed. Okay, good to
Mm-hmm.
hear them. It's encouraging. But if there are no enforcements, sanctions are
Mm-hmm.
passed, no enforcement, nothing happens. That is what happened 25 years ago. That is why the regime survived. But this time around, we are trying to make sure that the enforcement mechanisms, for example, passing sanctions on the two banks, the Myanmar Foreign Trade Bank and the Myanmar Commerce Bank. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
sanctions were passed, and we pushed for
Mm-hmm.
enforcement. And Singapore has helped to enforce. Bangladesh has forced to enforce. That makes the regime go crazy. So this is what we would like to ask the government of India. Look,
Mm-hmm.
we can't split away. We are on the border all the time. All the border issues are our issues also, as well as your issues, right? That let's say the
Mm-hmm.
armed movement, the narcotics, the human trafficking, money laundering are on all our borders. And it is the military that has ruled the country for many years. We haven't ruled yet. It's the military, successive militaries that have been ruling the country that has made all these problems. India border, China border, Laos border, and Thai border. So everybody is talking about the issues, but nobody is talking about the solution. That is why we
Mm-hmm.
are asking that please have a look at how we can solve it. We have explained that we have the federal constitution drawn. We are talking with everybody. We are working together, and that we look forward to having much more cooperation with all the bordering countries. Not we are not talking about neighboring countries. We are talking about bordering countries like
Mm-hmm.
Bangladesh, India, China, Laos, Thailand, the bordering countries, so that they can have a better understanding of what we are looking at, not what the regime is saying. We are not just fighting for NLD, not for just one political party. It is for policy change. So I would say this is something we are doing. We are doing together. We have a roadmap. We have a constitution, and we would like to talk to the governments. Okay, what is our future? What do we see? This is the kind of thing that we are asking the government of India through your good newspaper to please listen to us and stop supporting the regime. And they are supporting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they are still
Who is
continuing
supporting?
selling. India, the government of India is still selling arms. Okay, the government of India has agreed to allow the regime to use rupee and across the border because you
Mm-hmm.
see that one of the main issues is the emergence of India's what you call this commercial economic strength. India has become very strong, and in becoming strong, India flexes its muscles and now is starting to push it onto Burma. And they are pushing not with the proper people. They should not be walking with the regime that are doing all the atrocities. Please stop it, walk with us, talk with us, and then let's see how we can work together to get rid of the problem guys in the country.
Okay, but the just I would like to interrupt. But where the India is alleging that the Myanmar is a drug hub, narcotics hub, and also Myanmar is providing arms to the rebels in Manipur. How can it be? What is your opinion on this?
It is the Myanmar military that is doing that. That is why we are saying they are barking up the wrong tree. The Indian government knows that it is the Myanmar military that is giving space to the weapons. It is the Myanmar military troops that are carrying the narcotics to the border. Okay, it is not
Okay,
us. We don't have the strength. That is why if they want to get rid of those people by giving
so
them
you mean to say the
weapons,
Myanmar military regime is doing, the civilians are not involved in it?
yes, I am saying that it is the military people who only have the power and the authority to carry these narcotics issues or weapons across the country. We cannot. We have not been able to do it. We cannot even travel freely within our country.
So what is the
So this
intention,
is
according to you?
because they want to keep up the trouble, because they understand that the government of India is very sensitive about the Northeast. Okay, and China is concerned about its money laundering and all of its, let's say, global crimes, global syndicates that are doing the gambling online. And Thailand is
Mhm,
very concerned about the narcotics and the human trafficking and the cross-border undocumented migration. So the
mhm.
military, Myanmar military knows the weak points of these governments, and they manipulate it so that these governments think that by working with the military, Myanmar military, they can solve these problems. No, we are saying no, you are being lied to, you are doing the wrong thing. Please work with us.
Okay, okay. But India is also concerned, as you are saying that you are concerned about the India is about the narcotics and money laundering and all those things. India is also concerned about the cross-border movement regarding the arms and the people, narcotics trafficking, money laundering. Can you just tell us the way forward? What is the solution? How it can be stopped? And you say that lots of armed groups from the Indian side are taking shelter in the Myanmar. Can you just
Yeah,
throw some light into it?
that is why we are saying, okay, who controls those areas? It's a Myanmar military that controls those areas where these armed groups are staying. We have to look at the people who provide the space. And I was saying about the narcotics. Where are the narcotics made? They are either in Hukong Valley or they are done in Shan states and the Triangle. And who can carry them in trucks into India? It's not us. It's not us. It is a
What is the
military
route?
truck.
What is the route, sir? What is
It's
the route
coming
from
from
the sun?
Shan State to Mandalay up to India.
Which state? Mizoram, Manipur?
Uh, Mizoram, Manipur to tri-state, all those areas they are going through. So it is not that the Indian government doesn't know, I have to say, but it is because they are worried that if there is no military regime, our country will become a balkanization. And we are saying no. That is why I was emphasizing on having a federal constitution for the future. We already have. We have agreed upon it. The elected representatives, the ethnic organizations, the trade unions, the women's group, the CSOs, all of us work on that. We did argue a lot, but we have now agreed to a federal constitution, a draft that we are looking forward to. So we want the government of India to listen to us and try to work it out with us, because the military regime is not the answer to all these problems. They are the guys, they are the problem guys who have been doing it for the last 40 years.
Hmm. Okay. So what are the common tribes? You say that Tangkhul Naga is there. We got to know the Kuki tribes are there, who is the common tribes with the India and Myanmar. Can you just tell our viewers what are the common tribes with the India and Myanmar distributed in
Well,
both countries?
I am sorry, I am not able to hear you clearly.
I think our network is poor. We are expecting sir
Hello,
to be with us. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
hello.
sir. You're back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hello.
because
Yeah, we
uh,
are back.
yeah,
Yeah. What
sorry.
are the common tribes? Yeah.
Well, they are just like on India. They are also Shans. The Karens are common tribes within Thailand and Burma. The Lahu are the common tribes within China and Burma, and also let's say the Palau also are also common tribes on the Shan, the Shan and China border. So we have these common border tribes all along our border, and I really don't know about the India-Burma border. I'm not an expert. I was here many years ago, so please accept me by not when I'm not giving any specific answer.
Okay, no issues. Okay. So what is your expectations from your big neighbors like India and Bangladesh?
Well, Bangladesh, we have to work it out on the solution of repatriation. We have to work together. And for myself and my organization, we thank the government of India for putting emphasis on the bank not to accept the regime's banks as a banking partner. That's one thing. Another thing is with India is very specific. For example, we have problems at the United Nations General Assembly. Every
Hmm.
year, the India supports the regime. They in 2021 they were very vocal. The ambassador there had an article and was very aggressive. And this year also we saw a former ambassador who was writing an article on Burma on well that people should be just working with the regime and not with the democratic forces. I would say these are very uh, undiplomatic. I would say, as ambassadors writing these things, it should be other people. Even if you are writing, it should be other people who are writing and not the ambassadors who are diplomats. So it gives a very, for us, for me, it's very ugly. It gives a very bad image. And we are very surprised at that. We don't want that. Even if you are not supporting us, can you please be silent? Okay, if you say you can't support us, okay, then just be silent. That is a sign of a good neighbor. Because are we in the wrong for asking for democratic change? No. Is the regime wrong in bombing its own people? Yes. And why are you defending those guys who are wrong, who are killing their own people? And we're talking about refugees coming to Mizoram. We're talking about refugees coming to Thailand. We're
I think the network is very poor in the village where he is staying. We are waiting for him. Yeah, yeah, sir. Yeah, continue.
uh, so
Yeah.
who is driving out these people? And now once again, I say it's a military that has been years for many, many years, and these are the guys who are driving out these people. And I would say
I think there is a network issues. So can you hear me? So can you hear me?
hello.
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can. Can you hear me?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
just to continue, we would like to have the government of India, if not supporting, be silent. The reason is it's not only India. India leads SAC. Okay, Nepal, even Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and it's a bloc. It's a powerful bloc. Now it's becoming more powerful because of the BRICS issue. So we would like to have in the government of India just be silent if you are unable to support us, okay, but don't be advocates for the military regime. So that is our concern, and that is our humble request.
Okay. So my last one question, which is actually the concern for the younger generation, why Myanmar is becoming the hub for the drugs? And I heard that opium cultivation is common in every houses in Myanmar. Is it true?
Not in every house, but I would say, you know what the regime did. Okay, I am. Please let me explain. You can buy narcotics in the universities.
Hmm.
You can gamble in the universities compound. You can buy narcotics in the high schools. You
Hmm.
can gamble. in the high schools, but you can't talk politics. Okay, so that's how the regime has created this, let's say, the negative community. They have assassinated the character of the country. So, like I was saying, who carries all these narcotics into the country, into the schools? Nobody is able to, no ordinary person is able to do, because the soldiers or the police will stop you in everywhere. They will stop you anywhere, everywhere, and they have the authority to take you apart, check your bags and things like that. And then you get arrested if you have one or two tablets of narcotics. It's only the military and the police who can do this kind of thing. So that is what they have created. You can get narcotics in the high school, in the university. You can do gambling in the high school, in the universities. So as long as you don't do any politics, you can do anything. And that is what the regime has made it, so that the character of the country has been destroyed. And then also, narcotics just doesn't go out just by the people carrying the sex.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the record now, but I will try to find. Shiploads of opium, number four, and shiploads of tablets go out from Yangon.
Okay. Okay.
So that is what these guys are.
Mm.
If you look at our GDP, there is no production. If you look at the SMEs, there is no good SME. Okay, if you look at the banking structure, it's corrupt. It's run by all the generals. So I would say, if you really study the country, there is no way the regime or the military can have this kind of income that they are using. It is through using of narcotics as a source that they keep creating the wealth they have and buy all these things. So I would say this is what is happening to our country.
So last one question is also about the Rohingyas, which is a common topic across the globe. Myanmar, as a country, is being criticized for all discriminatory policies against the Rohingyas, not only by the coup, but also we heard that the civilians are also against the minorities in the Myanmar. Can you just throw some light into it? What is the
For
threat from the Rohingyas, and is there any political difficulties because of the Rohingyas' presence in the Myanmar?
Well, I would say what we are doing now is that this issue has is a big issue. It has to be solved one way or the other. Okay, so there are pros and cons within our even within our own community. It's really difficult. But what we are trying to do now within the NUCC, especially the Foreign Affairs Committee, is we are meeting with everybody. We have met with the refugees from the Cox's Bazar online. We have met with those advocates who are working internationally. We have met with the Rakhine ethnic uh, who are staying in the country online. We have discussed with them on the what could be the compromise. And
Mhm.
we are not giving anything. We are just putting all the facts together so that when the real discussion starts, we will have everybody involved. So there are
Mhm.
many people saying, well, we cannot accept anything, we don't see them. Okay, there's one group. Then there is another group that says, okay, they are citizens, they are human beings, they have the right of citizenship. But another group says, okay, they have the right of citizenship, they can go to school, they can have a hospital, they can have social welfare, but they cannot call themselves as indigenous.
Mhm.
So at
Mhm.
least there are these three camps. But the main factor is the military. The military is the unit that did that, then also use this Buddhism as a weapon against these people. So what
Mhm.
needs to be highlighted it is if you want to solve this issue also, it has to be that the military is out of the table. It's out of the discussion. Because like I explained, all those things, bombing in the country, killing the Karen people, bombing the kitchen villages, churches, and bombing the Rohingyas were all done by the military.
Right.
So
Okay.
it has been documented, and we have to solve it. We understand that, and we are trying our best to get information together from okay, which individual groups has this, who is a stakeholder, because we have to get all stakeholders giving open impressions on what they think and what could be the solution. And NUCC cannot and does not have the mandate to make any decisions. What we are doing is we are trying to get all the information together as much as we can so that when there's a time to sit down, then people can sit down and don't have to go to square one. That they will have at least these information gathered by the NUCC that they can start work on. So that's what we are looking at in the future.
Okay. Okay. So, with this, we hope that normalcy returns to Myanmar in a democratic and cordial relationship between India and Myanmar continues to grow with the bilateral talks in the days to come. Good night, Shubhratri. Thank you for joining us, sir. Good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the time. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.